Happy Tuesday, guys. What's up? Welcome into another Betting Pros college basketball live stream here on the YouTube channel for Betting Pros. It is time to break down the Final Four. He is Terrell Furman. I am Matt Perrault. We're going to get into the two games on Saturday, but we also have a live stream scheduled for Saturday. So these are sort of our preliminary thoughts, and we're going to break down the games and talk about the games, but we're not going to go. We'll give you bets, but there might be bets that we'll add coming up on Saturday after the line moves and we find out different information, injury status, and whatnot, because Auburn's got a bunch of them that we'll have a conversation about come Saturday morning. That show will be on Twitch. This show's on YouTube. How are you, Terrell? Good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm good. I'm great. I've been having a good time. I mean, it's been Chalk City. It's been Chalk City for the most part of the NCAA tournament. However, the women's side has grasped my attention. I've really been locked into the women's side of the tournament here. I don't know. I feel like I've had more moments there than I've had on the men's side. I will say that.
Well, that makes one of us, so that's good. So you got picks you want to give out. I got a couple of secondary tournaments, the NIT and the Crown. I got a bet that I gave out in the juice this morning, so I'll give you a bet.
So you can bet that, so we can do that now. That's good.
Well, I can bet it. I can bet it.
I don't know. I don't know.
Not be able to. Literally where you live. I mean, that dictates as to like where your location is, whether or not you actually can bet the darn tournament. So somebody forgot to go and tell the regulators that they're going to actually have a college basketball tournament in Las Vegas. So it's been sort of a bleep show.
They pulled everything too. They pulled it. They voided it. Like they said no.
Well, they did it dirty though. They voided the winners and they collected the losers. So they did it kind of dirty like that.
Oh, they did?
Oh, yeah, wow. Like not too
that's
cool. It's going to be a full refund and winners get refunded. Losers get refunded. You don't get to keep losers, keep the money. And then when somebody wins, you don't pay out the bet because you're not supposed to be taking action on it. So that'll all get worked out at the regulator level and the gaming level. But that's not, a couple of states have had some big problems with the Crown, Illinois being one of them. So not great. So we'll touch on that here for a little bit. But you mentioned the Chalk City situation. Okay, so here are the numbers: 14 consecutive wins for favorites in this tournament. Favorites went 12-0 for the first time in history during the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight. Second time ever we have seen all number one seeds make the Final Four.
Only second time
ever.
Wow. You would think it would be more than that. They're the number one seed. Everybody's talking about the best team, all that. Like come on. Remember, we talked about the parity of college basketball. This is parity. All the one seeds making it is parity because this has only happened twice ever.
08 was the only other time the Big East had it before. Now we have or 08 was the only other time when all four number one seeds wound up making it. What's your take on this? Did the committee do a good job? Were teams seeded correctly? Or is this a result of NIL in the transfer portal where we have this, four teams, the top four teams on KenPom, the deepest teams, the most talented teams are sitting here in San Antonio?
Oh, if I'm the committee, I'm taking full credit. All the credit. I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh yeah, I told you they're the number one seed. Why are you questioning why they're in the Final Four? I told you they're the four best teams. They should have made the Final Four. So if I'm the committee, I'm eating this win and I'm eating this W up and I'm putting it out there in the media and everything. Hey, looks like we were right because it looks like the four best teams that we said were going to be there in March are there in March right now. As a viewer, I like to see the underdog Cinderella make a little run and give me something to cheer for there. But, we get to see Duke in there and hopefully Duke falls on their butt. So that always.
So if you're going to go by the trend, in 14 consecutive times, we have seen the favorite win the game straight up. Now, not against the spread, but just straight up. If you're going to go by that, this is going to be a Duke and Florida national championship. If you think we get something else, well, then we may get a different situation. I think you and I both believe in something else that's going to happen here with the Duke Blue Devils up against Houston. We'll get more into that here in a second. But when are your college basketball for the women's side? When do those bets go off?
Friday. So those games are Friday night.
Okay, so I'll give you the bets for tonight. If you're looking for something from action right now, then Terrell will give you the picks for Friday, and then we'll get to our initial thoughts on Saturday on the two games coming up. So Let's start with the game that's going to tip off here at 7 o'clock at Hinkle Fieldhouse Eastern Time. UC Irvine up against North Texas. I've taken the plus 1.5. Late money coming in here on UC Irvine. DraftKings down to 1. Offshore's down to 1. Not a huge move, but just a little bit of a move here onto the dog. I do think UC Irvine's going to win this game outright. I've watched probably more UC Irvine games than I thought I was going to because I wound up seeing them play in the Big West Final against UC San Diego. I like the way they play. I like the continuity. There's been a lot of unrest with North Texas. This is one of those programs that's going to get rated by the portal with players just deciding to transfer and go elsewhere. I'm taking the Anteaters at plus 1.5. I know you don't have a play on this, but do you like either game here tonight at Hinkle, either Chattanooga, Loyola, or UC Irvine, North Texas?
No, I haven't gotten there on either of the games. I just kind of left that world at it be. I've been so locked in on the women's side of things, but I'll tell you there and just say that, hey, I'm fine telling you and going with that. It sounds good to me.
If you want extra, I think taking Loyola is also a good play here. They're laying 2.5 up against Chattanooga. I've liked the way that Loyola has looked here in this tournament. I'll be curious about the crowds because we'll talk about the Crown here in just 1 second. There's nobody going to the Crown games in Vegas. So I don't know if Hinkle with the NIT will see a larger number of people show up. The teams are going to want to play in the Crown because of the $500,000 in NIL money that they're playing for. And the NIL money for the NCAA and the NIT, if they want that tournament to stay relevant, they better start paying the players because that's going to cause a lot of these teams to say, well, if I have a choice, I'm going to go play in the Crown, go to Vegas and go play for money versus having my guys go ahead and play for, just for the rights to win the NIT, which is, back in the day, that was a big deal. You win the NIT, you get the practices, there's some value to that. You can make a name for yourself, but that's not, probably going to happen here for many programs here in college basketball. So I think the final, I think, will be Chattanooga against UC Irvine, but the only bet that I've made is I'm jumping on the plus 1.5 for Irvine here up against Hinkle. Now, the other games at 8:30 tonight. Colorado against Villanova. We mentioned that no one's going to be there. DePaul and Cincinnati are playing just one final. Cincinnati beat DePaul 83-61, which there's been a couple of blowouts here in this tournament. Oregon State will play Central Florida. That game at 5:30 will tip off here in a couple minutes for the second game for the Crown. And then 8:30 Eastern, you have Colorado and Villanova, and then Tulane and USC will round it out. Look, I think Villanova with Eric Dixon, this is simply just bet the best player on the court. And the best player on the court is going to be Eric Dixon. So I haven't loved Colorado. It's stunning that Colorado's even playing in this tournament. They're even playing in any postseason tournament that Colorado was there. So I thought the number was a bit suspect. I was like -3 for Villanova. I know there's been some defections, but this number now is up to 4.5 at certain books. Circa just went to 5. So to give you an idea where the professional money is coming in here, how do you feel about Nova tonight? Nova -3 is my number.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. I think Nova probably does have the best player on the court in this game. And so I don't know what, maybe they're buying into some type of team relations with Willard, coaching staff, who's in, who's out, who's doing what.
Right.
Maybe that's it. But like, who knows, guys? Who knows?
Yeah, there's been just so much of this transition, and there's been so much unrest here for North Texas. You have a coach that's coming in. Obviously, coaching change will take effect next year, but North Texas has been pretty good. They've been a program that is, interesting. But West Virginia came in and took North Texas's head coach. You didn't know, so you got a new coach coming in. So this is, I just think, a team of unrest. Same thing can be said, but I think it was a major benefit to me personally because I think Kyle Neptune was awful. I mean, I don't mean to be mean about it. I just think he's awful. And I think he was way over his head replacing Jay Wright. And so I think when he walked away, it was actually a really big plus to me of why I even like Nova to win this thing. I think Nova's going to win the Crown personally. If I was betting a future on it, I would never do that because it's the Crown. But I would bet on Nova. I would bet Nova to win this thing. I think Eric Dixon takes them to a championship, and he ends out his career with Villanova with a ring in Vegas. So I like It's 4.5 now. I don't know if I'd lay the 5. I mean, again, I got 3 last night. It's 5 now. So you've seen some people wake up and go, oh my gosh, how is Villanova only -3? Now they're 5, but I do think they win. You can include them in moneyline parlays if you want to stay away from the 5 points. I do think Nova's going to win tonight, and they probably will win it quite easily, to be quite honest, against North Texas. Although there are some talented players on North Texas. So those are my 2 plays other than the Final Four. Let's talk about your women's games. Friday, these games are?
Yes, Friday, you got 7 p.m. Tampa, Florida is the women's Final Four. First play, Texas, South Carolina, both playing. We know 2 SEC teams. I've been doing this the entire tournament and been pretty profitable. Taking the under when we're getting these conference games in the tournament, man. These teams know each other. Texas, South Carolina is like now what's the feeling? It kind of feels like if you go back in the NBA, how you kept seeing the Warriors and the Cavs link up time after time after time. That's what's going on. This is the 4th time they're playing this game this year. So they're playing it a lot. I think the defense is really going to come in here. I think it's going to be first to 50. Whoever gets to 50 points here is able to score, is able to win the game. So I think we're going to see a bunch of low scoring game here. Texas is known as a big defensive team, not really known for their offense. Maddie Booker has been really, really good for them, but South Carolina has started to figure her out and how to slow her down. She's a freshman that can go out there and give you 20 whenever. So I think this is an under type of game. Give me under 127.5. It's already going down to 127, 126.5 in some spots too. So under money is, well, I don't even know if the under money is coming in, but I would assume that it's coming in here.
Right.
I think that you should be back in the under in that one. And that's play number 1. Play number 2, the second game, UConn versus UCLA. I feel very confident about UConn winning this game, going on, playing in the national title game. This is what Gino does. It doesn't matter. If Gino has his players, Gino's going to get his team to the Final Four. Like he always does that. It's the only time he didn't make the Final Four is when Paige Beckers was out with injury and he made the Sweet 16. Like Paige Beckers has always helped get his team to the Final Four. I think this is the moment where they're like, all right, we're going back. We're getting a national title game. I've said it all year. I think that they've made this push, but UCLA is a really, really good team. They're getting 8.5 points here. I think it's way too many points for Lauren Betts, who is one of the best players in college basketball. We'll see her playing college basketball again, 6'7", and I just don't think they have anything for her offensively to slow her down. So I think she'll be able to score. She'll probably be able to combat whatever Paige does. And then you got Kiki Rice, who had an amazing game. They played this game last year, and UCLA got the win outright. I think UConn does get the win and get revenge, but I think it's a close game. Give me UCLA plus 8.5.
Oh, all right. Taking the dog in that one. Now, again, we're going to be doing a live stream on Twitch on Saturday. So this is Tuesday. So we are going to reserve the right to at least amend or add to the card depending on how these games are going to go, because Auburn and Florida is the first game. Jeremiah Broom's arm, shoulder, elbow, whatever it is, we're going to reserve and see what happens with him. Because if he is actually hurt, and we don't have any real information on this yet, except that Auburn is a 2.5-point dog to Florida with a total of 160.5. It opened at 162. The number's been bet down. We haven't seen any movement on the side yet. Everyone's kind of waiting to see, okay, how healthy is Broom once he gets to San Antonio? If he is out, this number is going to jump. But I think you and I are on the same side here. I've liked Florida. I had Florida winning it all, and I love this matchup against Auburn. These teams played at Auburn during the regular season. It was a 90-81 win for Florida. They won by 9. They covered. I think they win. I think they cover. I'm laying the 2.5 with Florida. You too, right?
Yeah, I am sticking with it. I think that the size is going to be good. Condon had a really, really good game last time out. I think he had like some 17-10 when they played them, and they routed them over there at Auburn. And so that's a really tough feat in itself. And I think if Broom is compromised, then that's really, really going to do you dirty. But I mean, if Broome is compromised and they don't have him out there, that may be addition by subtraction only on the defensive side, and that may make me look towards an under in the game.
Okay.
Like if they tell me something's wrong with Broome, I think that they do get a little bit better defensively, and of course the offensive production goes down. So that would actually make me look towards an under if you told me that there was no Broome or Broome might not be able to play here, but. With Condon out there and Broome out there and Broome compromised, I think Condon's going to feast the entire game. Even Ho is going to have a really good game as well coming off the bench for them. Like, I think their bigs are going to be able to feast in this one.
Yeah. The cardiac nature of the way Florida has played, with the way that they wound up losing, basically, 40 or 38 minutes of the 40, they've been losing to two different teams, both UConn and Texas Tech. And yet they were able to make the plays necessary. And you could say, well, they've been living dangerously and they're going to get burned. They're just really good and they're able to overcome and they're clutch and they can make big shots. I mean, Walter Clayton, the shot when they were down by 6 in the second half against Texas Tech, where he dribbles the ball from basically point blank range out to the top of the key to turn around and bury a 3, shows you just how confident that kid is in his ability to score and his ability to shoot. He's the best shooter in college basketball. He's been the best point guard in college basketball pretty much all year. And Florida is dead without Clayton Jr. So he's been tremendous in this tournament, and I think it continues here. And I know there's great guard play for Auburn, but Pettiford is a freshman. And this is a big moment for him here. He's a guy who's going to try to go, and I think potentially some hero ball. If they don't have Broome, you could see some hero ball coming with Pettiford that I don't really like. Auburn's deep, but Florida is just as deep, and I think the bigs for Florida will create problems, in particular because I do think Broome's banged up. I don't think he's going to be healthy. I think he'll play, but I don't think he's healthy. So I give the advantage in the post right now to Florida. And then the guard play, if it's not a wash, it's, I give the nod to Florida just on Clayton Jr.'s ability. So I think Florida wins. It shocked a lot of people, including the odds makers. If you remember, Florida was an 11-point dog at Auburn in that game. And they went in there and they won the game by 9. So to give you an idea, the odds makers were really wrong the last time these two teams met up during the regular season. And, Florida has been, I don't want to call them a team of destiny, but they've just been so darn good. I mean, away from home this year, they're 15-7 ATS. Now, Auburn was 13-9, but Florida was 16-5 in the SEC. 16-5 in the best conference we have ever seen, with 14 of the 16 teams in the dance. Florida had an ATS record of 16-5. I'm going to lay the 6.5 points, the 2.5 points with Florida. The total is interesting. What do you make of the total here in the first game? It's 160.5 between these two teams. We go up tempo because the first time that these teams faced off against each other, it was a 15-point over. It was 156, and the final score was 90-81. We going up tempo again?
I don't know. I think I kind of like an under kind of game here, and things kind of slow down in the tournament. Final Four, you're playing a conference opponent in, San Antonio. I just think dome type of game. I think that I like things to slow down here. I think that they may be a little bit more efficient, and it may not look like it, but I think the game slows down, and I don't think it's going to be a quick up tempo. Everybody's running up and gunning. Maybe there's adjustments in the second half, and maybe there's trying to be an adjustment in the second half, but then that kind of throws off rhythm, and you start to see a little bit more missed shots when you try to switch up tempo from first half to second half. I'm kind of sold on an under. Like I said, I would feel amazing about it if you told me Broome somehow wasn't playing in this game. I'd be like, oh yeah, it's under all the way. But I still like it under now, though.
Robert likes the Florida Duke money line parlay. I've been betting that the entire tournament, every single round. It is cashed every single round. We'll get to Duke in a second, but I think Florida money line, I think you're good on that. And we'll talk about Duke and Houston here in a second. I actually don't agree with you, but I don't mind the play on Florida Duke to go back to another one of those, considering how profitable that play has been for the last 2 weeks. The wild stat for the Florida Gators is that when we hit the month of March, and now we're into April, there hasn't been a single Florida under game yet. Florida's gone over 11 straight games. Wow. Every single tournament game, every SEC game, and every NCAA tournament game so far for the Florida Gators has gone over. Oh, well, that is somewhat stunning. I mean, from a number away from home, they're 14-8 away from home. They're 21-17 to the over, 14-8 to the over for Florida. For Auburn, last 2 games have gone under. They're 4-1 to the under over their last 5, and only the Creighton game has gone over in the NCAA tournament. Alabama State went under, Michigan went under, Michigan State went under. The Creighton game went over by 4 because they scored 82 points. It was an 82-70 final. So in terms of pace, if Auburn gets to play a slower pace like you're talking about, it could be dog and under, or favorite and over if this game goes the way Florida wants, which is going to be more up-tempo, less of a grind. Auburn might want to slow it down, play it more. I mean, they're 136th in tempo, so maybe they're looking to take the air out of the ball. Florida is 59th in tempo, and we've seen games against Alabama in which Florida just, went ahead and went up and down the court and scored 104 points. And the last time they played Alabama, they scored 99 points the first time they played Alabama. Yeah. So, Florida can do that and score. So I think whoever winds up controlling tempo could very well win the game. So if it's Florida, it may be the over, but if Broome doesn't play, I think you're right. I think they try to take the air out of the ball, but I do think Broome's going to play. Yeah. To the late game, which is Duke in primetime as always. This number is fascinating. 5.5, 5 at DraftKings, opened at 4.5 here. Total is 136.5 or 137 for Houston and Duke. I think you and I both agree, but you're playing this the way you've played it the whole tournament, right?
Yep. First half. And continue with the first half trend. Sampson gets them ready. And
what's their record on that? Is it 4-0?
So no, the only loss was Purdue.
Okay.
Purdue was the only loss. They ended up leading at half, and then they came back immediately and, thrashed Tennessee at the half. It was no doubt there. So continue, get his teams prepared with time to prepare, with practice, all of that. He puts together a really, really solid defensive game plan in that first half. It doesn't let teams get out with the lead too often. And so I think that's what he's going to need here. He's going to need a really, really solid defensive game plan because there's a lot of weapons on that Duke side of the ball. It may the hater in me that wants to see Duke fall looks at that Duke team and is like, they're pretty good.
Oh, they're really good.
They're really pretty good. It's like me. It's like me watching the Eagles all year. It's like me watching the Eagles all year. Like, this team is really good. Yikes.
Yeah, they're really, really good. And what's fun about this game is that the numbers are incredible. So 5.5, 136 or 137, depending on what you're looking at from a total perspective. These are your stats on KenPom. Houston is 360th in tempo. They are at a snail's pace. Duke's not much faster at 268, but Duke has the number 1 most efficient offense. Houston has the number 1 most efficient defense. Duke has the number 3 offense of effective field goal percentage in the country. Houston has the number 2 defensive effective field goal percentage. Duke is 8th in 3-point shooting. Houston is 13th in 3-point shooting defense. Duke is 6th in 2-point percentage. Houston is 5th in 2-point percentage defense. This is your ultimate 1 versus 2. But on the flip side, which is even more wild, normally there's one side of the ball for both teams that we talk about, right? Like one great defense, one great offense. On the other side, Houston's offense is 10th in efficiency. Yep. Duke's defense is 4th in efficiency, and they're number 1. Houston's number 2 in defensive effective field goal percentage. The team that's number 1 is Duke, which is like, hold on a second. 3rd in 3-point shooting is Houston in the country. They're 3rd. They have the 3rd best percentage from behind the arc. I can't wait to watch this game. I'm taking the points. Anytime when these two teams look to be this much of a I think it's really close. I think both these teams, these very well might be the 2 best teams in college basketball, to be quite honest.
Yep.
I'm taking the 5.5. You're going farther, right? You're taking money line, right?
Oh, dude, yes. What? Come on. I've been committed to Houston and Kelvin Sampson and this team the entire tournament. There's no reason when we get to the bright lights, the big stage, to
Yeah.
just get off the train now. I have to. What? It's like 2-1.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. With a team that I feel that confident, there's not a lot of 2-1 bets that I feel really, really confident on the other team. I'm like, oh, yeah, the other team probably could really do that and get it done. I talk myself into the bet, and I'm like, yeah, I can make that bet. Yeah, I feel good. I like this Houston team. I think they're going to get it done.
If you like Houston money line and you want to put a future in, it's not bad to take, as what Terrell said, take the 4-1. Like, don't worry about Houston against Duke. Take them 4-1 to win the national championship, because they're not going to be 4-1 if they beat Duke. They're not going to be 4-1 in the next round. So it's absolutely worth your attention and your sprinkle to take Duke at 4-1. 4 plus 420 plus 440. Go in the market and shop around and take Houston at plus 440 up against Duke, rather than, or you just bet money line and roll it over if you want. We've had a very successful taking $100 and rolling it over all the way to this point. We won 4 units doing that. So that was a huge, really nice bankroll patter for us as we went into this tournament. The Duke and Florida money line parlay also has been really nice to go ahead and do that. I'm not doing the Duke and Florida money line parlay for this reason, because I think Houston, we're going to run right into one of those trends will continue and one will not. So I'm going to hold off on parlaying anything together with Duke and Florida, because I very well think Duke can lose this game. What do you make of the total? 137, 136.5.
Down. It's too high.
Right.
I think this is think of that. We saw 15 points from Tennessee in that last game against Houston at half. 15.
And it still almost went over. It almost went over. Came close. I mean, it was on its way.
Give me under. I think that they're going to absolutely slow this down. This is going to be defense on both sides. Everybody wants to see the high scoring and the offenses from the two teams. I think we're going to see the defenses.
So Houston, since we've entered tournament play, Houston is 5-2 to the under so far this year. The Colorado game, where it was 127.5, went over by 17 points. And then Gonzaga 141.5 went over by 15.5 points. Every other game has gone under. BYU, Arizona, SIU, Edwardsville, Purdue, and Tennessee. And I would highlight the Purdue and Tennessee games because those were the more high pressure, high intensity games in the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight. I love the under in this game for a couple of reasons. One, I don't think Houston has any interest in running with Duke. Two, the dome, in the Alamo Dome, it is hard to shoot early. Big building. We're not cutting this thing off. We're putting the court right in the middle of the football stadium and having all those deep sight lines behind it. But also, Houston loves to throw the ball up and go get it. They're going to rebound. They're going to go crazy in this. And I think that's how they'll play offense. They'll take the ball, they'll miss, offensive rebound, kick it out, bleed the clock, slow the game down to a snail's pace. I don't know about Florida-Auburn. I think that game, Florida-Auburn, could be high tempo, could be up tempo.
I could see it. Yep.
Could be higher scoring. But this one, I'm with you on Houston money line. I like 5.5, and I like the under coming up here in this game as well. I think it's going to be a rock fight here, and I think Duke's going to have to execute. They can execute, but they're going to have to really execute against Houston. Give me the better defense. Give me the tougher team. Give me Kelvin Sampson making the national championship game coming up on Monday and a chance to potentially win Houston's first national championship. This is the team to do it. This is the team. I mean, they've been the best team arguably all year. This is their chance to prove it up against Duke and everyone's favorite, the Duke Blue Devils. The nonpartisan people in that building will be on Houston. That's one of the benefits because it's Duke. Everybody loves to hate on Duke. All right. So again, we're going to do this again on Saturday. Okay. We're going to do it again. So if things change, if we see any injury news or anything that may pop up, we'll come back on and give you guys some official plays. But let's go ahead and throw the plays up on the screen for right now. Terrell, go ahead and go through yours.
All right. Over there in women's Final Four, tipping off Friday, we got Texas, South Carolina under 127.5, and the UCLA Bruins plus 8.5. I do think UConn wins the game, though. Not money line sprinkle this time around, but I think we're going to get a good close game. For the men's Final Four, we got Houston first half plus 2.5 here, and on the money line, of course, and then Florida laying the 2.5 in the other game.
For me, UC Irvine is tonight in the Final Four of the NIT, that at Hinkle Fieldhouse up against North Texas. I'm taking Irvine at +1.5. In the Crown in Las Vegas, in the opening round game, Villanova laying 3. It's now 4.5 or 5 up against Colorado. Colorado had no business being in any postseason tournament, let alone this one. So I'm going to lay that. Those two games are tonight. Then to Saturday, in the men's Final Four, I'm taking Florida -2.5 up against Auburn. They beat Auburn by 9 in the first matchup. I think Florida's the better team, and the injury concern for Broome with Auburn equally makes it more difficult for that team to beat a Florida Gator team that just seems to be a team of destiny. And then I'm right with Terrell. I like the first half play as well, but I'm going to take the game +5.5. You have to sprinkle money line. Anytime you take dog, definitely sprinkle 10% of your bet coming in on money line. I think Houston's got a real good shot of making it to the championship game and beating Duke and setting up what could be an epic final between Houston and Duke coming up on Monday. Again, those plays, we'll reset them and get to you on Twitch coming up on Saturday for all the things that are going to be happening for us. I think it's going to be really a fun day for Final Four coming up there. 11 a.m. We'll be there. So it looks like they're sending us back to, I thought we're going Twitch. I guess we're not. I guess we're going to YouTube. We're going back to YouTube on this. We got to correct on that. But tell me what's going on for Fast Break Bets before we get out of here.
I mean, we're having a great time right now off of a great week. Last week had a 4-0 day on a Monday, only two plays on Tuesday, but looking to do good. We got to get this Suns graphic changed, though. I crap on the Suns way too much for us.
Well, he's hurt now, too.
Yeah, for me to continue to have the graphic as well, we got to get this changed. So I'm gonna talk to Ethan, and we're gonna make sure we get that changed there. But yes, still every single weekday, tune in.
Very good. The Daily Juice podcast is what I host Monday through Friday or Monday through Sunday, every day, 365. You guys will get all sorts of picks and plays. Hockey. We'll get into some golf coming up here with the Masters. It's right around the corner for Masters Week.
Ooh.
And we'll get into what's going to happen for not just college basketball, but the NBA playoffs right around the corner, NHL playoffs as well. So Daily Juice on the YouTube channel for Betting Pros. It's youtube.com/bettingpros, or wherever you guys get your audio podcasts. You guys can go and search for the Daily Juice. I will get back to you guys. I thought it was Saturday. It looks like it might be Sunday for us coming up here for the live stream. So we'll actually have the national championship game on Sunday. I think they're keeping us on YouTube and moving it to Sunday instead of having on Saturday. But both Terrell and I on our podcast will update you on the time, so we have that correctly stated for you guys. So it looks like we're going to come up here on Sunday, but be listening to both Fast Break Bets and the Daily Juice. We'll have picks and plays as we go to the Final Four and the national championship game coming up in San Antonio on Monday. I'm seeing it too. Okay. Thank you, Seth. I appreciate it. He's Terrell Furman. I'm Matt Perrault. We'll talk to you, probably Sunday right here on the Betting Pros YouTube channel.